horsepower are you making at this track, which is the smallest one at FD?
We make like 1100 to the wheels, a little over 1100, but we are doing something to bleed off power, so we're probably making realistically like 900 here.
1,050 at the wheel.
Oh my god, it makes 1,030 to the ground when it's a happy day, you know?
Supposedly the dyno said 930, but realistically we're probably like low 8s.
Probably around like 860, 900. It's a little, we're having a hard time getting peak boost out of it. Ideally it should lay down 1,000 at the wheels.
Around 950.
Is that what you run everywhere?
Yeah.
Didn't turn it down?
No.
Full power?
Full power, just like
floored the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've probably only gotten to 70% throttle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think,
so you think you're using like 800?
A couple full blips here and there.
Yeah. And you use all of it?
That's how you did it all? Yeah.
You want more? For this track, or are you good?
No, like honestly, I think even on Connor's car, I think we're turned down quite a bit. I think he's only like 700, but he's got a lot of pickup and torque, which helps.
Do you floor it at all?
Yeah.
On this track?
Yeah.
Okay. So no plans to turn it down?
No.
Run it the same everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I feel like no one's turning their cars down.
No, we just set the gearing and then you just
let it eat. Okay. You think you need all 900, or would you bleed it more down if you could?
There's moments where I like all 900 following like slower cars because I overspeed my rear wheels. But if I didn't use that strategy, I could probably get away on this track with like 800.
What's one thing about drifting that you think people misunderstand?
That the core of it is just to have fun. Simple as that. I mean, am I supposed to go crazy with it?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Maybe they think we're all balling. I mean, if you're a super noob and you just think that we're running like hard plastic tires out here,
yep.
You know, people are always like, oh, I used to drift in the dirt back in my truck, and you know.
how fast these cars actually are.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How fast are they?
Definitely driven faster vehicles, but never sideways, like out of control.
Right. In drift, these cars would run like a 10-second quarter mile.
Overbuilding the car.
Okay.
And not learning like fundamentals of how a basic car works, because we seem to have the most fun in like beat up stock cars where you can just run doors all day long and it costs nothing to run.
If it's not a really hipster like drift fan, they think that we take grip out of cars to make them drift. You guys must run on plastic tires. Why do you need all this power?
When it comes down to the mindset of actually competing, it's a really big mentality change.
What if your mindset was 50% there and your team and everywhere else was 100%? Well, how do you think you'd finish?
50%.
Yeah.
These cars cost so much money to run that sometimes they're not always that fast.
Right, but that's part of being in the best.
It is, correct. And you need this car to be here.
They don't understand we are actually trying to make traction with these cars. We're actually trying to go faster. It is a race. I think most people confuse it with entertainment motorsports that are only entertainment based, but we're one of the few motorsports that's entertainment and a race. If you get passed, if you're offline, if you're slow, you're gonna lose, and that's completely different than a freestyle motocross or most other judge sports. So in drifting, you gotta be fast, you gotta be on point, and you gotta make it look good for a crowd. So
how hard it is to get seat time.
Okay.
I think that I have friends like this guy right here who's like, I'm gonna go buy an E36 and I'm gonna start drifting it. And one thing that I wish I knew way back when was how much it actually takes to do that. One, if you're street driving a car to and from the track and throwing two tires in it, that's one thing. But to like drive consistently all the time, you have to have a trailer, you have to have a car that can hold that trailer, and it's just so expensive. That's one thing. When I first started, I had no idea how expensive it was. Even to run like a simple seat time car, it's so much cheaper to go do like spec racing or like time attack because parts don't break as much, tires don't cost as much, we're going with the way more. It takes a lot of planning and dedication to like, I think, really excel at the sport.
What does the future of drifting hold in your eyes?
As soon as all the sim kids can afford drift cars, we're all screwed.
Okay.
So we gotta have fun while we can now.
Okay.
Because once they come in, it's just done. They're gonna be insane.
It's an entry-level way to get into it, but ultimately they're gonna want to do it for real.
In my eyes, you're looking at the future of drifting right here between myself and my
Cocky.
sister.
I like it.
And 21 over here, so I don't think we have any plans on stopping.
I think it's just gonna get more and more mainstream. I think it's gonna replace some of the mainstream automotive racing that you see today.
It's cool to see the larger influencers like Adam LZ coming in or other people. Like, I think as an athlete, I'm able to pull in non-endemic brands into the drifting space. As more people come in and see drifting, it will bring a larger commercial space for us.
Well, it's crazy to see big companies like Purelator and other companies that jumped on NASCAR at the beginning now come into this sport, because that means that we're basically at the launch of where NASCAR was. So if we can even do a 50% of what they did, it would be insane. big stadiums, that type of stuff would be awesome.
Probably exotic tube frame crazy builds. ABC, people start to run mid-engine cars that I think, I don't even know if that's the way I want to see it go. I really like classic drifting, D1, you know, the 240s, FD3Ss, but I want to see professional drifting around the world continue to develop and get the best out of it as a crowd experience and a driver experience.
Being a pro driver isn't necessarily the dream anymore.
Okay.
I feel like when I first started, it was like, I want to be an FD driver. That's exactly what I want to do. That's what everyone does. If I want to be the best and I want to have all these partnerships to be able to drive, you have to go pro. And with the elevation of social media, and this is like speaking for myself personally, I've been able to grow partners to drive as much as I want, wherever I want, and not have to have the pressure to be the best driver.
Yeah, when I started, the only way to go drive with anyone was to compete at a pro level.
And to have sponsors.
And no one was even good.
Yeah, and so it's changed a lot.
The future of it, as long as we don't go all electric and all like emissions problems, I think the future is going to get just bigger in growth, and I think
That's the California anthem.
more knowledge. Yeah. LA, bro, we don't know. This could all turn off in a second.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I think the future of drifting is going to be awesome.
What is the most fun thing about a drift weekend outside of the driving?
It's getting to drive against legends and other people that you've looked up to for so long that now like this is who you're going to battle with. But as soon as helmet's off, you're really good friends with pretty much everyone in the paddock. There's probably the camaraderie and all the friendship, and like last night we had extra food and we were giving it up to them, and these guys needed a gearbox and that guy needed a cooler thing and we needed a water pump, and like just all of the all the grassroots stuff that actually happens behind the scenes at drifting.
Yeah.
Not only like you guys have the same passion, but you have the same struggles, and so you get both ends of it. You know what I mean? You get like the trauma bond of building a drift car, but then
driving it and wrecking it and doing all that.
But then you get it's like the highs and the lows. You get all of it.
The camaraderie of the idiot sitting next to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Call me idiot.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, just for whatever reason, we're on this like same mindset, train of thought on just having fun here with your boys. We're like, oh, you just broke your car. I'm gonna help you fix it so we can go break again together.
You get done doing a run with your best friend and you just door him around the whole course. The conversation after is definitely the best.
Perfect.
I love traveling, and I love like seeing the drifting demographic, the drifting culture in every single different part of the country that I go to and the world.
I like a challenge. I don't think anybody out here that's doing this, whether they're on the team or the drivers or the owners of the cars, are here unless they like a challenge. So there's something about the travel aspect, being with your friends or your teammates, the camaraderie aspect, and then obviously interacting with the crowd. Being a rotary enthusiast, engine builder, like I love hearing other people's stories about what they're doing with their cars, their builds, trying to help them out.
Kicking it with the fans.
Yeah.
And just the friendly competition between my brother and I would say. Bickering. And like one-ups, you know?
I know. Last night you finished second overall, right?
Yeah, I one-upped both my brothers.
Yep. And Brandon was like, yeah, just because I was spotting for her. That's what his answer was.
Finding the need to upgrade your car for more power or more grip when it's necessary. When you drive a car to its absolute limit and you're like, I am at the capacity of this car and I need to upgrade more power, more grip so I can accelerate my driving rather than just like overbuilding and going into it.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I did
exciting
that
that way.
and then I went all the way back to a stock 370Z. So when I started winning competitions in that, and I was like, okay, I need more power if I want to go more. And when you know your driver level is at that level where you need more car, that is such an insane gratification.
What is the most rewarding part of drifting?
It is drifting. The most rewarding part is the drifting. Like, it just feels good. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's probably if you're into sports like skydiving or surfing or downhill BMX, catching air is an adrenaline rush, but it's super mentally pleasing because there's something that the hand-eye coordination and then the achievement of the combination of kind of the mechanical brute force that you're managing, like an off-road track or something, and finessing it into a turn right next to a wall. Throw it in hard, get it kind of backwards, light off the tires, and know that there's another guy on your door dealing with it, and you just come out of that turn smooth. It's a very enjoyable feeling.
All these hours you work, not only just in your garage in your car, but working at work to afford this, then driving to the track, unloading, doing all this, the skill, and then that one lap, that one moment, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all worth it now. It's nuts.
When you and your boy connect on like a perfect lead and chase, you know, and you're just like high-fiving afterwards, like it's the stupidest, like, hell yeah, that was cool. Like, I did my best, you did your best.
That's why I
and
do
it's
this.
like freaking cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Or like when you almost die together and you like both avoid a wreck. It's like, oh, that was, we almost like lost all our shit, but it was great.
Seeing all of the hard work put into play. Like, everyone on our team has such a big role, even if it's the smallest role. It's a full operation, and when the chemistry of the team is right, it's very rewarding.
I think it's getting the chance to drive with the best, with the champions. Like, honestly, like my next battle is James Dean, and I've never ran with James Dean before. So for the fact that we get to see him top 16, and I know I can throw it on his door, it's going to be a rowdy time for sure.
And maybe struggling and improving and running like lines that you were not able to touch at the beginning of practice, and coming home and being like, I became a better driver. I unlocked something that I for sure didn't know how to do before.
What's the most rewarding part of drifting?
Winning.
Winning?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the least rewarding?
Losing.
Man, that's really simple. I like this. Straight to the point.
Having to pay for it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Fixing things that don't improve your car, and it's just maintenance.
Just maintenance.
That's
it.
the least rewarding thing ever.
I hate to travel.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not a big travel
The
person.
least rewarding thing for you is
Yeah,
how much effort it
The
takes to get to
effort,
each
what it
event.
takes, and then yeah, you know, just what it is.
I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is temperature right now. The weather is like probably the least rewarding scenario. Because I grew up playing ice hockey where it's nice and cool. You know, on an ice rink, it's not that hot. I mean, it was 104 earlier and then started to rain. That's insane, like insane.
We're underwater.
When you have bad mechanical failures and then you look back at how much money you spent and what you could have done with your time.
The maintenance, I would say. And it's not even, you know, it's just like anything else. You got to put in hard work in any motorsport. And we do a lot of maintenance and a lot of setup for a limited amount of laps.
If you could push drifting in any direction in the future, or something you'd like to see in the future, what would it be?
I would like to see competition be a little more regulated. When I first started doing Pro-Am driving, there was such a gap of like quick change, G-force, 700 horsepower, and when you want to like compete at a higher level, what I think we see now is like 300 treadwear, 265 max. I like to almost have like the idea of like having like a spec level, so everyone is at the same level of car.
So it's all driver.
So it's all driver, and not like someone shows up with an old HGK car in a Pro-Am, and you're like,
what do you do?
I have a 370Z with nitrous.
Yeah.
And then you could argue there's like, oh, well, there's grassroots stuff, but to get up a little level above that, it's such a massive gap, and I'd like to see somehow someone figure a way to like cap that.
Yeah, dude, we could have a competition on just 265 tires and 300 treadwear maximum to keep the cars, keep it simple, stupid, and like let the skill battle it out. Instead of the, hey, if you got gnarly tires, now you need a gnarly like rear end and a gnarly transmission and a gnarly drive shaft and a gnarly every single thing to hold up to the grip. Nothing on the pro side. The pro side, I want full steroids, I want full biggity badass, I want all the drugs, give it to me.
Better venues, better tracks.
What makes a track better?
Higher speed, actual like consistent surface to drive on. Having the ability to host a bunch of fans, better vendors. Basically just grow it into Supercross.
I believe that.
What I would love to see, and I don't think this is like just an overnight implementation, but like a sealed like LS3 motor series, or like, you know, off-road, you have like, hey, these are crate motors, figure your shit out around it. This is the motor everyone has to run, and it's like not making that much power. Work on other stuff and focus on driving.
The live stream portion, like it would be cool to get the fans more involved in understanding.
Probably just getting bigger sponsors on so we have more budget to go do more cool things. That's really what it comes down to.
Would you just spend more if you made more, or no? You're good. You can actually make some money then.
Yeah, it's not even so much that, it's that if there's more money in the sport and more sponsors that want to be part of the sport, then what's available to us is insane. They will
Right,
make
the whole
money. I'm
sport
not worried
grows
about
that
that.
way.
Correct. They will find a way to make money.
What's your favorite thing about this car?
Sound.
The noises it makes, just the feeling of like grabbing another gear.
I think S chassis in general start out super light, so you can build it however way you want. Like I even have dreams and aspirations of building a small tire car, and I could do it because I can make the car with me in it probably weigh 2,700 pounds.
I like the sound of it,
The sound?
for sure.
What does it sound like?
Real aggressive.
Okay, okay. I was waiting to see if you'd make the sound.
Parts are easy off the shelf, you know, cheat off whatever I saw Forsberg do in years past, you know, so I'll go with that.
I saw you running with Forsberg earlier. I gotta be honest with you. Your car was moving a bit more, and it was giving him the beans for sure.
Yeah, I've been dialing this sucker in.
Yeah.
I mean, the rotary, obviously. I build rotaries.
What is one downside with your car?
Wheelbase is on the short side a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, it makes it snappy and fun to drive, but it'll get you.
The 5-link rear suspension
I told you.
is garbage.
Okay.
But hey, Wiseman has been helping us out, so
that's cool.
and they make collapsible links now. So the
It's
first
just the
two rounds,
style of the car,
Yeah.
not what's on the car.
correct.
The 5-link rear end has been difficult
The
for us.
5-link rear end, yeah.
It's a great engineering setup. It took us a while to really figure out how to use it, and it took some aftermarket components to make it work even better. But it's temperamental. It's easy to have it fall out of adjustment.
Oh, the days that it doesn't work right.
That's fair. That's fair. What's one negative or downside of the car?
It's not a brand new car.
It looks brand new.
It does look brand new. We did our best to make it look like a new car.
The whole
But,
face and body lift.
Yeah, yeah.
Why did you build the car you have?
We thought the 1 Series mathematically on paper would be great. Wasn't a good idea. Chassis wasn't good, like this guy kind of
You're doing pretty
explained to
good
me.
with it now.
Yeah, well,
Found some things out.
we did figure it out. Don't let the suspension move and it works a little bit better.
I did.
Which is really random to say.
Yeah.
But don't let anything move and you're good.
Oh, I started my drifting career in Pro-Am in an S chassis. I always felt like I was behind on developing, learning how to build cars. I was not a car builder. I still don't really consider myself a car builder. I just do it out of necessity. So I'm always taking the path of least resistance. It's the car I learned how to drive. It's the car I kind of know inside and out. I don't have, I feel like, time to learn a new car if I want to stay competitive.
I asked the internet, and I think that was the hugest mistake ever. Don't ever ask the internet. They ain't gonna give you any good advice. And
We're not asking you anything.
And it
We don't wanna
depends.
know.
It depends on the day of the week,
Ask him
apparently.
a question in the comments.
Yeah.
I built a 370 for marketing purposes. I was in an S chassis. My favorite car is probably an FC, but those aren't marketable. This was newer, so it worked out for sponsorship things in the game in the long run.
I guess that's just kind of what we started with, and we just started gaining parts for it and everything else, and we just kind of spiraled from there into what it is now.
Got it. So you didn't necessarily love the car at first and pick it for a reason. You just kind of improved it over the years and learned to like it.
Yeah, kind of, pretty much.
What are your thoughts on drifting and YouTube, and YouTubers drifting, vice versa?
I think it's good because it allows people to see the sport that would never be able to see the sport. So I think it's super cool. I mean, we drive a lot with TJ Hunt back in California, Jimmy Oaks in different countries, Adam all over the world. Like, I think it's super cool because it brings more of a mainstream eye on something that people don't really know what's going on. They think drifting is that like takeover thing in the parking lot around the intersection deal, which is not what it is. Yeah, we do.
Plug it?
We're working on it.
Okay.
So it's Rome CP.
There you
So
go.
we are building more. We're trying to get more content out there, but honestly, we spend so much time building the cars and driving to events that I'm very bad about filming, so I do apologize.
It's hard. It's hard to prioritize it because it is something that's important, but at the same time, like, you got to be able to do this too.
And the car has to work.
Right.
So you're
Otherwise-
battling this, and then if not, it's not even worth it. Because what's all the YouTube? Like, hey, look guys, I went to the track and nothing worked.
It's funny because some YouTubers do drifting in their spare time, and then we try to do YouTube in our spare time.
I think the YouTube on the spare time is probably harder.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm asking.
Because like mindset's not there. Like when I need to fix the car, I'm fixing the car. I'm
Yeah.
not like, hey, does someone have a camera? Can you guys help me film?
What are we going to talk about today? What are we going to do?
That is not the mindset. First mindset is we have 5 minutes. How are we gonna fix this? What part can we steal off of what car to make this happen right now?
Think about this generation and era that we're in. We're in a personal brand generation where if you can build a personal brand, no matter who you are, at the end of the day, you have something to sell.
Yep.
And I'm starting to realize even the big brands, the big commercial brands are looking for things like that, which is why they're kind of targeting influencers or someone who has an audience. Everyone has their own demographic, which then again allows enough brands to go around and choose different markets. But I think without a personal brand, are you just driving for fun at the end of the day? Like, this
True.
is a business.
Do you feel like a YouTuber that, let's say, has 1 million followers on YouTube and he's decent at drifting and is involved in drifting can be more successful or has more opportunity than someone who is a winner or a champion in drifting that has a small YouTube?
110%.
Which one? Which one's more valuable?
I think the larger following can be more successful.
Okay, fair enough.
It all depends on what partners they're trying to align themselves with. Some partners care, some don't. But I do think that there is a extreme competitive edge if a driver that is established, that is able to build that fan base. I think that's a wild advantage versus a company, a tire program, or a tire company that's like, we're gonna pick this guy who's a great driver, and this guy that's a great driver that has some momentum on his social. It's a no-brainer at that point. It's a massive advantage to have a social platform, a massive advantage, but it's so saturated that trying to build and be unique, I don't want to say is impossible, but it's so hard now.
Especially long format. I'm mostly talking YouTube. So most everybody has an Instagram.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like YouTube.
Long format YouTube.
I think that it's so hard, and I feel like if I was to start fresh today, I don't want to say I wouldn't have success, but
just as YouTube.
I'm at where I'm at today because I started before it was a thing. Like, I fully acknowledge that. I would argue that if drivers focused more on sharing their personal story and their personal life in drifting, rather than just, hey, here's how we did, here's what we ran into, and they film these like half-ass videos, they'd have way more momentum.
LZ gets away.
Let's go, Reed. But then again, just as you said, drivers are tapped, so they can't do it. But like, if you want to have that edge and you want it bad enough, I think it's necessary.
Thank you, dude.
I think the more eyes we can get on the sport, the better, regardless. I don't care what platform it's on. So if you're in drifting, building a name for yourself through YouTube is obviously a good way to do it.
Do you have YouTube?
Yeah, I do.
What is it? Plug it.
It's Brandon_Sorensen. As long as my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it's all the same.
Perfect. We're out.